Hey guys, this is Scott Horne with Goat Funding Group, and I'm just going to talk a moment about what lenders want to see in a rehab budget so that they will really appreciate that and it helps you get your deal done. So, as you're putting together your deal, I think one of the most important things is making it easy to follow. One of the last things I don't want to see is a 14-page, horrifically detailed repair takeoff. Now, one of the things that we do provide our investors over at Goat Funding, our website, is a pretty detailed room-by-room takeoff. Now, I'm not doing that for my purposes. I'm doing that for the investors' purposes to help them, because so many investors are fairly new. Helping them outline the things to look at on a room-by-room basis and an exterior basis is beneficial for them. I get a lot of pushback. They're going, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. And that's fine if you're experienced, but if you're inexperienced, it's there to help you not overlook certain items. Now, if you fill that out, you can take that detailed sheet filled out and then you can knock that down a little bit into some basic major categories. One of the things I did for myself personally years and years ago is I trained myself that when I'm looking at a property, I wanted to look at a certain number of issues each and every time the same way. And by doing that, it helped me to better compartmentalize it, helped me to better evaluate it, and to get things to happen. Now, in the beginning, I had to be a lot more detailed on a case-by-case basis, and it helps you train your mind to be better at putting together a repair takeoff. So for instance, when I go to a property, things that I'm going to look at are, first off, is how is the structure, the house, situated on the property? Does it look good from a building setback perspective from the street so everything looks similar? Or is it stuck out in the middle of the front yard that you're going, what the heck's going on here? How's it to the fence lines on the left, the right, the back? Is there a detached garage in the alleyway? Possibly, things of this nature. So I'm getting an overall view of this, how the property sits on the property. Then of course I'm looking at the exterior structure of the property in the yard. I'm looking at the yard and the landscaping. Is it minimal? Is it substantial? I want to note the fence. That's a big ticket item. Is it something I'm doing with chain link or wood? Because today that's an expensive item to replace. I want to look at things such as, is there a gas meter if the property has gas? Because if the meter is not present, you're getting a plumber out to pull a permit and put a pressure check on that gas line. And you may want to expect at that point to be replacing some or all of your gas lines in the house. That could be a big ticket item you need to anticipate. Is there an electric meter? Has that meter been pulled? If there's no meter, you're pulling a permit to have the house inspected. So you need to look at that as well as your electrical panel to make sure it's up to code. Know things like a Federal Pacific panel box is a fire hazard today. So if you have that in a house you're buying, you need to expect to replace that with a more current and safe panel box. And they're probably going to make you move that outside instead of inside the house. I'm going to look at the foundation. Does it look good? Does the brick siding look good? Do I see any variations in the roof line? How does my roof look? What about my windows, my siding, and my paint? I want to get that global view of the exterior of those items because each one of those are big ticket items: roof, windows, exterior siding, and paint. Then as I move in the house, I'm going to look at the overall picture there. What is my flooring? What are my walls? Do they need texture? Do I need to do sheetrock work? Is it just painting? How many square feet is that house? What's going to be the cost of my materials and my labor to do those kind of things? And of course, at the same time, I'm looking at my trim, my baseboard, my doors. Are they sufficient where I can keep those? Or am I going to have to replace them for some reason? I'm going to look at my kitchen. How are my cabinets, my countertops, my appliances? And what do I need to do with those? Can I paint them? Can I reface them? Or do I have to gut them and put all new in? And then what's my countertop material? Formica, granite, something different? And then my appliances, low end, mid end, high end. But I'm getting that number to compartmentalize it. I look at my bathrooms. What's my cost going to be in my bathrooms? Do they need everything? Do they need only a little bit? I want to make sure I have that down pat. I'm going to look at my light fixtures, my ceiling fans, my hardware. How does all that look overall? So I get a number for that. And I take all those items that may be 13 or 14 broad scoped items, able to go through and put a price tag on each one of those pretty generally. I may not be dead on point what those are, but today I can get within 10% of that number pretty easily. So you take a room by room type breakout and you can condense that into your primary broad spectrum items for your repair takeoff. Now that's what I want to see, because when I go look at a property, when most lenders go look at a property and inspect it, that's what they're doing, the same thing too. They're looking at the broad overall scope. They don't want a blow by blow detail, replace one electrical outlet in the first bedroom, replace a light switch in the second bedroom. They don't want to see that. They're looking for those broad brush items so they can get a good feel to know that your cost for that renovation is within reasonable boundaries of what it should really cost you. And I think if you do that, you'll find that you're able to push that transaction through much quicker with your lender along the way. Maybe you want to let the lender know you're willing to provide them lien waivers for your big ticket items such as foundation, roof, windows, HVAC, electrical, if you have those big items along the way. Carpentry, painting, flooring, different ball games out there a little bit. But you can have big ticket items with your flooring for carpeting, or maybe your luxury vinyl planks you're putting in, because they can be worth thousands of dollars. And lenders want to know they're going to be protected so that when they issue a draw to you, that you're going to get those paid and you're willing to get them a lien waiver for those items along the way. I think it's a smart idea to provide your lender with maybe a time frame. Let them know that you're expecting to have this job completed in 30, 45, 60, 90, 120 days. Maybe you can break things up a little bit where you tell them that you're going to have the exterior of the property done within 30 days, includes X, Y, and Z, and then the interior will be completed thereafter. And you give them some expectations of what to look for and anticipate. But as you do that, this tells your lender that you kind of got it going on, that you are organized, that you have a good grasp of the project you're working on and you're asking to borrow money on it. It's just demonstrating to that lender your ability to handle the project overall. And the better you can hone that in, the better it makes you. And again, all investors are at different levels of their career. If you're new, you'll see that, for instance, the GOAT inspection report being very detailed helps you to go through and look at so you don't miss things that you need to be anticipating. Today, one of the big things I see investors missing is the sewer line. Huge, because a lot of the homes we're buying are 50 years old or older. They have cast iron sewer lines, and those cast iron sewer lines have rusted out. And there is a great odds are that you have to replace that sewer line, which is a pretty big ticket item, from $10,000 to $20,000 or more, based on the property you're buying. All these things you want to adjust and look at. And I'll tell you again, as you learn to do this better, it'll help you hone your skills and be able to get you in and out of a property faster. You're able to go through, compartmentalize it, and instead of staying in the house for an hour checking every little detail, you can be in and out in 10 minutes maybe. And time is money in our business. So again, compartmentalizing all this, being able to put it into broad brush categories for your lender, getting yourself pretty doggone close to that number. If there are things you don't know, get your bids out there in advance so you can submit them to your lender and you have a good, reasonable expectation of what those costs are going to be. Don't wind up thinking that your rehab is going to be $20,000 and the lender goes out and it's $50,000 because you missed everything. That is not going to show well for you to your lender. They're going to go, dude, you ain't got a clue what's going on. And that could kill your deal or cause different parameters to be put in place possibly. So again, demonstrating your knowledge base, your ability, getting the bids you need in advance, being able to demonstrate you understand your deal, time frames, all of this being put together will help demonstrate to your lender your rehab budget is reasonable, good, and will help them get that loan done for you as soon as possible. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, take a minute and like it, make any comments. We'll do our very best to comment on those for you. And then please jump over and join our YouTube channel as well. We'll look forward to seeing you guys next time.